Did you guys hear Nick's show this week?
Yeah.
He said it was on for 3 hours?
Almost 4. Marathon, man. Yeah.
That's a long time.
I had an audience. Yeah.
Nice. The Anchor Baby Show. You like the title? Yeah. Anchor Baby Show?
Yeah.
I think you stuck with it. You're going to be an anchor baby at 80 years. Good morning, welcome to church. I am Jesse Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. You can go to our chat line on YouTube, and Hank will let me know the questions and comments you may have. Welcome to church. Welcome, y'all. How y'all? Good. So, church is a fellowship. It's not a teaching place. So hopefully you didn't come to be taught. All right? Any first-timers? Nice. Oh, great. Tell us your name and how did you hear about us?
My name is Jason, and I found out about you and your show through my brother.
Nice. Welcome, man. Any
Thank
questions or comments?
Not yet.
What do you think about the show? You heard the show?
Yes, a couple of times.
What do you think about it?
So far, so good. I like it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Did you go and forgive your mother?
Not yet.
Why not?
I mean, I'm still learning the whole process and stuff like that.
Oh, about forgiveness?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Yes, sir. Your first time here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us how you hear about us and
Through
blah, blah, blah.
YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah.
And what was your first impression when you heard the first show? If you remember.
It was more of a comedy thing, honestly.
Yeah.
It was I used to
like,
enjoy
this black
just
guy's
laughing
really
about
funny.
it, yeah. And then as it started making sense.
It started making
yeah.
sense. Did you go and forgive?
Not yet.
You did not? Why not?
I mean, I still need to build that courage.
You need to build the courage to go and forgive?
Yes, sir.
So you need to build the courage to go and forgive your mother?
Yes, sir.
Really? Isn't that amazing? Think about that. Mama. You got to build courage to talk to mama. How will you build it before facing her?
I have no idea yet, to be honest. I just hope one day God leads me and I just do it.
Yeah. Well, you can't build it until you face it.
Right.
You can't build courage and then do it, right? You develop courage as you're doing it.
Okay.
You overcome the fear. So you wait until the cows come home if you're waiting for courage. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Makes sense.
You got to do it. You're going to be shaking your boots, and after that, you won't shake anymore.
Alrighty.
So you got to face her, trembling. Are you surprised how afraid you are of your mother? It's like you're a grown man.
Right.
Isn't that like weird when you think about it?
It is.
Afraid of mama.
It is.
Amazing.
It is.
Any questions about anything?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
Right on. Any other new people? No? First time? Tell us your name and how did you hear about us?
My name is Troy, and I think you just popped up same way like he was saying on the sidebar, probably on YouTube.
Yes.
And I watched a bit, and I think you grabbed me with. I think the big thing for me was all thoughts are all lies all the time, and it grabbed me, and as if I'm going to quote you, I smoked on it. I don't do that anymore, but I really enjoyed it, and then I spent a while just like. I'd get an alert. I wake up early, so I'd wake up, I'd watch the show, I'd kind of reflect on it, and I started sharing it with some of the people closer to me, people who maybe, follow God, people who don't, just kind of reflecting on it more by like bouncing ideas off of other people, seeing how they react. And I think that's what I liked about all of it, is I liked that it seemed like your arms were wide open for angry, not angry, question, certain, and I don't know. I found that to be really compelling, I guess.
Nice. Did you go and forgive?
Oh yeah, I forgave my mother a long time ago, my father a long time ago. I think that also resonated with me.
Right on.
It made it crystallize and made more sense.
Yeah.
Hearing you say that and making it very, it's very simple.
So you went to your mother and forgave her?
Yes,
And how did
but
she-
way before I heard you. It
How did she react to your forgiving her?
Originally, I think I was young, so originally maybe in anger, and then as we came closer together with more humility, my mother, for all of her faults, is at least a very humble person for the many mistakes she's made. So I never struggled to speak to my mother, honestly,
on.
brutally
Nice.
honestly, if I have to.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Good, man. Any questions for me?
Not at this
Not yet.
moment, but
Okay.
thank you for doing this.
Well, I'm
Appreciate
glad
it.
you're here. Amazing. Your name and how did you hear about us?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I found you on YouTube through Troy, and I came to the Women's Forum on Thursday, so I wanted to come and try the church because I
Right
really
on.
enjoyed it. So.
Oh, yeah, I remember you.
Yeah,
Amazing. Okay. We had an amazing meeting Thursday.
it was great.
It was something else.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear from I gave them an assignment, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell us your name and how did you hear about us?
My name's Debbie, and I'm her mother, and I'm visiting from out of town. So I just said, "Oh, I'll go with you." So that's how I heard about it.
Oh, nice. And so did she forgive you?
I'm sure. I don't know. She didn't ask me,
Did you
but
forgive your mother?
We've had
Oh,
we've had conversations about things in our past that's happened. So I would say yes, but I haven't forgiven my father.
and
So-
have you gone to your mother and said, I'm sorry for resenting you?
Yes.
You told her that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And why not your father?
It's more complicated in my mind.
In your mind, huh?
Yeah.
But all thoughts are all lies all the
Yep.
time about anything.
Exactly.
And yet you let the mind stop you.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But I realized since, I've been listening to you for only a month maybe.
Oh, okay.
But I realized oh, wow, I really am so angry and I didn't even understand it. And a lot of my anger comes from my resentment towards my father. So I'm like, oh, I need to forgive him. Like I need to have that conversation with him. So, it's something I'm gonna do. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. I wouldn't put off today for tomorrow.
Right.
Because tomorrow's not promised to you.
Right.
And you don't want to drop your body with anger.
Totally.
You think it's hell on earth. At least on earth you have a chance to overcome, right? If you drop the body with anger, you don't have a chance to overcome. It's over.
Yeah. Thank
and,
you.
And hell continues forever. Amazing.
Amazing.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else first time? This your first time here? Oh, okay. Tell me your name and how did you hear about us?
My name is Fernando, and I found you on YouTube.
Right on.
Yeah.
Any questions or anything?
Well, yeah, I always wondered, since you mentioned a lot of things that are regarding the mind and, what they were talking about, the third eye at one time, and then like your chi, when you feel it in your belly, that kind of thing.
The what? The cheese?
I knew it. It's called chi with the...
Oh, cheese.
Yes.
I thought he said it
yeah.
had been the cheese in the stomach.
How much, and I know you like to pretend that you don't know as much as you do, but...
I'm black and slow, man.
No, yeah, that's what you say. But I'm curious, did you have any, did you study any of that prior to coming out of the fallen state? Did you know about things regarding like yoga and,
The only thing I knew about yoga is the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I would take those yoga classes, but when they would do all that other stuff, I wouldn't do it because I didn't understand it. But I didn't take any classes. I've been taking any classes about anything. And people have been asking me about a third eye. I've heard the Ching people talk about the third eye, but I wouldn't recommend a third eye. I
Two's
don't know
enough,
where
huh?
that eye came from. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend that. What I will recommend and do recommend that you just be still and let go.
Yeah.
You want to become the observer of the thoughts, not the creator of them, right? Because thoughts are evil, man.
Yes.
And I don't know if the third eye is watching the thoughts or you watching the third eye.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't get into it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that.
I don't. I'm just curious from hearing
No, it just comes from.
regarding the silent prayer.
No.
That's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
is the-
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a Muslim thing. It's the third eye about Muslims, right? Or Japanese or somebody.
I think it's Hindu. It's Hindu.
Oh,
and-
Hindu.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you do the third eye thing?
No, not at all.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
curious because I knew about the third eye.
I have
prior to
friends
that.
who are into the third eye,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of that is originally probably comes from religion and things regarding spirituality.
I realized about the thought when I asked God to help me because I couldn't change anything. And I had gone to different churches and they said, pray, do this and do that. And nobody said forgive.
Yeah.
Or even if they mentioned forgiveness, it wasn't go and forgive your mother. But he allowed me to see that I resented my mother because prior to that, I didn't know I resented my mother. I thought I loved my mother.
All right.
And he allowed me to see that I become like her.
Yes.
And I must forgive, right? And that's what it means to be born again, to overcome that spirit of anger and return to the Father. And I went and did that. It's just been amazing for the
Yes.
last.
And I want to thank
It's
you.
really been amazing. I wish if I could grab this spirit away from you, everybody, and throw it out, I would. Because that's the only thing that's holding you back, is that anger. But anyway.
Yes. Yes. I
Did
just
you
wanted
go
to.
for-
I think you are a prophet.
A who?
A prophet.
Don't say that out loud, man.
Okay.
I'm having
But
enough time
I want
right
to
now,
thank you
people following me.
personally. Thank you for leading. And,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
yeah. So
You're
thank
welcome. Did you go and forgive?
I did. Yeah.
And how did it go for you?
Well.
Good, man.
Yeah. Very good.
Are you doing the silent prayer?
No. Not. I try, or I do once in a while, but I'm not. I don't.
And why not?
To be honest with you, because I feel like nothing is happening when I do that. I feel I already have the clarity. I already have
You already have what?
clarity.
Oh, okay. So you don't need prayer anymore?
I feel like I don't at this point.
Oh.
I feel like I just want to be led by God and have Him direct, and not necessarily go into a point of having, trying to clear thoughts or
Oh,
anything
okay.
like that.
What happens when you do it? Or when you have done it?
In the past, when I have tried it, when I do it, I still think that thoughts still come and go, and I do observe them come and go. But that's all that happens really.
Oh, okay.
There have been times where I felt like I've had some anxiety maybe, and then just by doing that, I was able to calm down. But
Oh, okay.
I believe in it, and I think people would benefit from that.
Nice. Well, thank you, man.
Of course,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
that. Thanks for coming, too.
Of course.
This your first time?
Second time.
And yours?
Second time.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Nice. So, any Christians here? Oh, a lot of Christians. How do you see Jesus? The young man way in the back. You heard of Jesus, right?
Of course, yeah. How do I see him? I know I grew up Catholic. I mean, I still am Catholic, but believe it, even though Catholics, they're really heavy on like the iconography and all the imagery of it all.
Yeah.
I respect it and I admire it, but I know deep down like we're not really supposed to get all involved with that stuff. Jesus is more how I see him. I feel like it's more of a like connection to like his spirit in a way. I don't know. I don't have a straight answer. It's just when I'm reading the Bible and I'm reading like his messages and everything, it's more like it's like you're kind of plugged into a frequency, really. Like you're tuning a radio or something and you get that right frequency. That's kind of how I connect with him. I can't really say I see Jesus, but it's more like a connection with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. How do you see Jesus? You raise your hand, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a sure answer as well, but I would say Jesus, I see him as the Son of God who came to forgive us for our sins.
Right.
He was sent down by God to forgive us for our sins, pretty much.
That's how you see him?
Yes.
Okay. Are you nervous?
A little bit, yes.
And so it's impossible to be a Christian and not forgive your mother? Since God forgive us for everything?
Well, can you repeat it again?
Is it possible to be a Christian and not forgive your mother?
Technically, no, I would say. Because you're supposed to forgive as a Christian and just love everyone
Right.
and forgive.
Nice. Adriana, how do you see Jesus? Oh, hold on for a minute. This is a fellowship, so don't, relax, have fun, wake up. It's not a teaching. Let no man teach you. No one. Okay.
I see him as like God's gift to the world.
Adriana.
Oh, I see him as God's gift to the world, and that he came here and gave us the biggest gift of forgiveness when he died on the cross.
So you see him as God's gift to the world, and he did what now?
And then when he was on the cross, when he forgave, he said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know.
Right.
That was his gift back to the world.
And has that helped you to
Yes.
see him that way?
Oh, absolutely.
In what way?
I
It's a fellowship, no
Yeah.
wrong or right answers.
I think it's easy for me to forgive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very easy for me to forgive.
Amazing. I can't ask any of the other ladies right now because they were at the meeting on Thursday, and I gave them an assignment. All right. How do you see Jesus? Yeah, you raised your hand as a Christian, right?
No, but
Oh, you didn't raise your hand? So you're not a Christian?
I was raised with the Krishnas, so I've been coming, and I'm like a Hari Christian in a way. I'm a
What's a
mix.
hardy Christian?
Born and raised in a Hare Krishna society.
Oh, Hare
and,
Krishna.
And now I've been coming to church
Oh,
as a Christian.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Oh,
And,
are you you used to be a Hare Krishner?
I still am.
You wear that outfit thing too?
I did. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to work for the hospital, Brockman Hospital in Cover City,
Yeah.
and there was a
Right across the street.
Yeah.
I grew up on that block. Yeah.
Wow. You don't look like one of them.
At all.
That's amazing. I used to, at that time, I was just out there. And I used to think, wow, how come they dress like that? They wear like these sheets that are colored. And I used to wonder about that.
Yeah, it's a way to they free themselves from just material things like clothing and stuff like that. Just a more simple way of dress.
But they still have all material things, though.
Yeah, true,
So
but
they're
just
not
not
totally free.
not as materialistic as everybody else.
So you were born into that family?
Yes.
Like your father and mother was already into it?
Yes,
And are you still into it?
I am, but what's going on Watsika, it's hard for me to identify with.
Oh,
Just the people, not the temple and stuff like that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. How do you see Jesus? These are the things that the Father wants you to think about, not what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, where you're going to work, where you're going to live, who your friends are, and how much money you have. You must think on these things.
I see Jesus as perfect,
That's perfect. And what do you mean by that?
like the perfect example of how to live your life, how to lead your life.
And how is that example? What's the example? What's his way of living? This is so deep.
Just
Are y'all having much fun as I am? This is so deep.
loving everyone and forgiving your neighbor, forgiving your enemies. Loving your neighbor, forgiving your enemies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's how you see him.
Yeah,
Has that helped you?
yeah.
In what way?
Just
This is not a quiz, all right? So
Yeah, I guess when I realized that like a Christian is someone who is Christ-like, I realized that it's not enough to just read the Bible, go to church. You have to actually be Christ-like. You can't
Yeah.
just say, "Oh, I believe in Jesus and Jesus forgives me," and then continue to act like, the opposite.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. Right here. You raised your hand for a Christian, right? Daniel?
I didn't.
Oh, how do you see Jesus?
So I can't really see Jesus. 'Cause
You can't see him?
He's in heaven, or
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
I can see the Father Spirit in myself and in other people.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And what is it like in you?
Perfection, or bliss. It's
Oh,
awesome.
nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
How about you, Big Bump? I say Big Bump so much now, I'm forgetting your real name. Derek.
Right. That's funny. I see Jesus as like a big brother that I look up to and, to be like.
And when you say to be like, what do you want to be like?
Christ-like.
Christ-like?
Yes.
And what is Christ-like?
Perfect, right, and holy.
And holy. Amazing. And so you're thriving to become that way?
Yes.
For lack of a better word?
Right.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Hey, you responded. Did you guys hear Hate respond to this? Did you respond to this on the show? Uh-huh. No, that wasn't the question. Oh, okay. How do you see Jesus, Hake?
I see him as like this honorable, almost like unattainable man in the Bible that said like deep, unexpected things, but also like lived simply. And I see him as like what the Bible says about him, like the Son of God and perfect. But I'm not sure that I know like what Jesus really was like. Because I see like everybody saying, not everybody here, but everybody on the internet, for example, saying, "Oh, Jesus was about helping people."
He was not.
He was, but not like they're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
And when you say you see it as unattainable,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Like
That's an interesting word.
Like perfect, like you know how in the early church everybody was called little Christs. They were called Christians.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's rare to come across people or to become really like him.
So in your own personal life, you see Jesus as unattainable.
Yeah, I
Not
still have
anyone
that.
else but you,
Yeah,
because this year we're becoming individuals.
Right.
And so you see him, Hake sees Jesus, and it's not a put down, it's interesting, as
Yeah.
unattainable.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it
so why are you
seems-
wasting your time?
What do you mean?
If he's unattainable, just go die, right?
I know, but I don't know, it's one of those weird things.
So what does unattainable mean to you?
Unattainable means that you could never really be like him.
Oh, you don't believe that?
Yeah, it's like a doubt, a lingering doubt.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. All right.
The young man in the blue shirt, you're a Christian, right?
Yes.
And how do you see Jesus?
It's pretty interesting how he brought that up. I wasn't really thinking about that type of word, but I kind of would fit in that description as well.
What's the description?
Unattainable, like not being exactly like him. Like, I believe you can, but there is like you said, like a lingering doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
And so,
because everybody still like falls like short to
but
something.
for you, why even bother if you believe he is unattainable? Why even bother with
That's
it?
a really good question. Because I believe his word is true, I guess it's just hard at the moment. I believe it is. I believe that point can come.
Yeah.
It's just hard at the moment right now.
And what's hard about it at the moment?
The thoughts.
The thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. The thoughts. Interesting. Let me ask your brother.
It's that powerful. Yeah.
It's what?
I believe it's like that powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Amazing. How do you see Jesus? You ever thought about this? You ever wonder, how do I see Jesus?
Yeah, I have.
With an afro or good hair? Or
I do see him as attainable, actually, through the spirit, but not through the flesh.
And what do you mean by that?
Because, the quote, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." So I think that it's a daily practice, and that the spirit can get to that point. But the flesh will always fall, but your spirit can get to a likeness or an example just like Jesus.
And how, you said practicing?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you practice what?
Just the laws, I believe, I guess. The
You
laws
practice-
and the examples that Jesus basically spoke about and laid out.
Oh, okay. Nice, okay. Anybody want to add to that? No? Oh, okay, good. Yes, sir. Let's go. Since you're back there, way in the back, and then we'll come over this way. This is so good. Relax. And ladies, I'll get to you guys in a minute. I can't wait for the feedback. They probably forgot their assignment. No, they couldn't have. Yes. How do you see him, Jesus?
Well, physically, I do not see Jesus, but what I know of him, he's the lamb slain before the foundations of time, meaning he was that sacrifice in order for us to be one with the Father again, because of Adam sinned and we had that disconnect.
Right.
So Jesus was the perfect example. He was an alpha male, a warrior. He was perfect love, and I also see him as like an attorney. I hear that he's at the right hand of the Father making intercession for us. It says in the Bible that no one comes to the Father except through the Son. And so although us in and of ourselves, our own good works are a filthy rags to God, but when we have the Holy Spirit in us, which came after Christ's sacrifice, we're able to reconnect with God. So I see him as like the bridge. I see him like just being the perfect example, loving us, and like all the accusations that the devil uses against us to say, hey, look, these aren't your sons and daughters. Like Christ says, no, they're covered in my blood. I've forgiven them. I died for them.
Amazing.
And so because of that, we're able to do what's right because of his spirit's in us.
Nice. Thank you, man. That's
Welcome.
amazing. Did you have your hand? Yeah, I did. Okay, right here. And then I get to you, Raymond, and I'm coming across.
But I will say that's a tough follow. That was really, really beautiful, man. I wanted to touch, when I was listening to Hake and a few others, kind of similar idea, I kept thinking of the word unattainable. It just kept going over in my head. And I thought, and I could be wrong, but in my head when I hear like that it's unattainable, I could understand how seeing the image of Jesus, like, so let's say so eloquently just portrayed by Isaiah, right? And maybe like that's big shoes to fill here in this body, on this earth, in the state that we see things.
Right.
So I could understand how it feels unattainable. It seems very, I guess I see Jesus as like, he's like a support, like a balancing, or like, when you feel like you're walking through the world with your eyes closed, right? Or like in the darkness, it's like kind of like when the light comes on, maybe you don't see his face, maybe you don't know if he's got the good hair or whatever, right? But you can see, right?
You know what Jesus looked like, right?
I mean, I know what I know the images I've seen, but you know, if it's what he looks like to me, it's
Look
just
at
like a
Hassan.
steadying
That's what
force.
Jesus looked like.
Right there, yeah. All right, I'm fine with that.
I saw that Jesus poster.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice.
What did you think about it?
I like it. I like it. Go ahead.
But yeah, I think that such a, you know, an eloquent depiction that we get in the Bible, and I can understand that if you're using Jesus as a measuring stick, it can feel unattainable. It's large shoes to fill, but I think that's also a good thing. You know, we especially in this world, we you know, so I can only speak from the position of myself as a man, but you know, he wasn't just forgiving. He wasn't just righteous. You know, it wasn't just about bringing peace. You know, one of my favorite verses, not to like just bring the Bible, but like, you know, I didn't come to bring peace, I came to bring a sword. Like, to be able in this world as a man to stand up when things are difficult, when you know you're going to catch wrath, when you know you're going to catch people throwing things back at you, to stand up and speak out or defend whoever it might be in that moment. It's that could be Christ-like too, you know, as much as forgiveness.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's all.
Amazing. That young man in the blue shirt. Jesse, your hand, Raymond?
Yes, you did.
Raymond's mother expired last week, right?
Yes, she did.
May her soul rest in peace.
Thank you
Did
very
you
much.
guys have the funeral?
We'll have the service this coming Saturday.
And how old was she?
91.
It's time to go. At 91, you should just get out of the way, right? No, I'm playing. May she rest in peace, her soul.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I always see Jesus as my personal Savior. When I pray, it's as if He allowed me to see my faults, my shortcomings, even my evil, and at times shows me that He's there for me, even when I'm fall short of our Father's grace.
Amazing. Nice. Thank you, Raymond. Jesse, your hand? No? I saw your hand, right?
Yeah, my hand.
Okay. And how do you see him, Jesus?
Kind of counterintuitive to goodness. Not like he's bad, but that he's perfect, and what he did was perfect, and that no man can tell you otherwise. And as long as you believe in him and have faith in him, you can't help but be good.
And what does counterintuitive mean?
It means like against what most people would think. Like,
Oh, he goes against what people would think.
yeah, like
Oh, okay.
back then they used to sacrifice animals and have a strict diet, and he said all food is clean.
They still doing that.
Yeah, and they still do, but I think that he was a lot more practical, and I think he simplified. He's like, you know, you're a human, you're loved. That can't be, once you let Jesus into your life, I feel like it can't be taken away.
Has it helped you to see him like that?
Absolutely. I think
What has it done for you?
There's a lot less anger. I'm still working on forgiving my mother in particular.
You're working on it?
Working on it, man. It's tough.
How you working on it? Same with my friend, huh?
Yeah.
How you working on it?
Well, you know, my mom has, you know, a lot of mental issues, and she gets pretty angry, and I just have to not take it personally.
So you're trying to sneak up on her or something?
No. No. I was raised mostly by my mom,
And so why don't you just go and say, hey, I'm sorry
I
for
have
everything?
done that, and then she'll, you know, cuss me out and have a huge mood swing.
She what?
Like cuss me out,
Oh, yeah?
yell at me for no obvious reason.
And do you care about that?
I guess I do care about it a little too much.
Why?
I'm not sure yet.
Because God said, go and forgive. Nothing is required of your mother. She doesn't have to apologize. She doesn't have to admit anything.
Yeah.
She can curse until the cows come home. When you forgive her, God will forgive you. You'll be free.
I agree.
He will forgive. People don't forgive. Human beings do not forgive.
I called you about a year ago.
Oh, you did?
And I
so
took
a year going by, you haven't done it yet?
No, I did do it. I took your advice.
Oh, you did it,
and
but
it was
she couldn't.
good. And I kind of fell back. I started drinking again a lot, and just fell back into the fallen state.
So you went and forgave Mama, and she cursed you out, and you went deeper into.
I went deeper into the resentment. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? Trying to learn how to move forward.
But the only way you're going to move forward, you must forgive.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have love in your heart, you don't have evil. And
Yeah.
evil bring you down. God calls you to live, right? And he changes the heart so he can be with you. And love conquers all.
Yeah.
And so if you don't forgive your mother, there's no other way out.
I know, and it's so, a year later to see you in person saying that is a big sign, as big of a sign from God that I can have.
It's been that way forever, and it's going to always be that way,
Yeah.
especially with the New Testament. You must forgive.
Yeah, okay.
And don't, if she cursed, just look at her like she's a crazy person cursing. It has nothing to do with you.
See, that's what's hard is when I just accepting her for who she is instead of trying to change her.
Right, you can't even change yourself. Don't even try.
Yeah.
Are you still living with her?
No.
Oh, good.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, go and forgive her, man. How about your father?
He's actually kind of believing in God now. I think that my journey with God is, last time I talked to him, he said he believed in God, and he used to say that when we die, we just go in the dirt. And so it's been kind of interesting. He's dating a Christian girl now.
Your father is?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But he's, it's really weird for him to be talking about God, and so I appreciate him.
Have you forgave him, though?
I've forgiven him.
Oh, good.
My mom hasn't forgiven him, and so it's just, she sees him in me.
Well, go and forgive your mother so you can start growing.
I know.
That's because that anger is holding you back.
It is.
There's no life in anger. Everyone who has anger, I don't care who they are, they have fear, they have doubt, they have worry, they're insecure. Their life is hell on the inside and on the outside, coming from others. It's hell on earth. But once you forgive, life will become paradise.
I needed that, and I appreciate it.
So forgive your mother, and don't, if she get mad, just let her get mad. It's on her. It has nothing to do with you at all.
It's like what you said, where you just, if she just fall down and die.
Yeah.
then
Forgive her.
That's what it is.
Yeah, let her. If she fall down and die.
Because it hurts her feelings, and I gotta let her understand that it's not my stuff.
So what now?
That it's more her stuff than mine, and I have
You
to let
don't even
her.
have to let her understand that. You
Right.
just forgive her.
Yeah.
Because the issue is when you resent her, you're separated from God. You're separated from love. You have no way out. So you don't have to convince her anything.
Okay.
Does she have insurance if she dies?
I don't know. She always hints that she's gonna leave me this little house, and I'm like,
Or well,
just take
ask
your
her
time.
where those papers are located. They probably in the kitchen. I don't know if white people put their. Do white people put their stuff, insurance paper, in the kitchen right by the silverware?
It's somewhere in a.
Or do they go to the bank and
box
hide
in
it
the
in a
back.
safety box where you can't
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but forgive her so you can go free. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse. I
You're welcome,
appreciate
buddy. Yes. So how do you see Jesus? You had your hand right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How do you see Jesus?
A redeemer, the second Adam, the physical embodiment of perfect love.
Amazing.
And in that example of him being the example, also a mirror. And like what Raymond said about being the personal savior, and when we be still and pray, it is like a mirror of seeing like his perfection and like seeing our flaws. And like what Hake was saying about it feels unattainable. I think when you're still and you see Jesus' perfectness and you see your faults, that's Satan giving you thoughts that you'll never be able to be like Jesus. It's unattainable because look how
Right.
perfect he was. And all the thoughts come that, oh, you used to do this or you still do this. And that's not Christ-like. So it does make it feel unattainable because of those thoughts and Satan doing that. So yeah, a mirror, but through stillness, I know that it is attainable because you here.
Amazing. Isn't that something? So let me ask the ladies. I'm looking at the clock here. We're going to end this on time. So, ladies, the young lady in the black first, and then the blue. No, you. No, you. You were here Thursday night, right?
I'm sorry?
You was at the women's forum. And do you remember my assignment? Oh, so tell me first, how do you see Jesus?
Can you circle back to me?
Can I? All right. Let me ask your daughter. how do you see, and you were here Thursday too, so how do you see Jesus?
I don't have a solid answer, Jesse. I just
What the?
I don't. After listening to everyone and every
Did you think about this after Thursday night? Did it
no,
cross your mind?
Well, you didn't allow us to. So every time it would come in, it would. You're like, oh no, I can't, or you said not to. But it's hard once you know better. You can't just forget.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's, let me ask the other ladies first, then I come back.
Okay.
Because I remember now exactly what the assignment was, right? Oh, let's do it that way then. So did you erase all images of Jesus?
Try to.
And did it work?
No.
And why not?
Images, in a sense, like physical appearance, it wasn't.
What is it in your mind? Yeah.
It was difficult only because once you know better, like he's there, he's always there, he'll never like leave you.
Right.
It's hard to not always feel him.
And so you tried to erase all images of what you read about it, heard about him, and all that, and you couldn't do it.
You
So
can
the assignment
do it.
was to erase all images that you have of Jesus. Right?
Yes.
Am I right about that assignment?
Yes.
Okay, I want to be precise. And so you tried to erase the images?
Yes.
And what happened?
You feel empty, and
You feel empty?
yeah,
Okay.
just because you read and you hear stuff, and that kind of forms your own image and your own opinion of what you believe it is.
Right.
And everyone's interpretation, everyone's image is different. So kind of once that was erased, it left me blank with, well, what do I really think?
It
his
left you
image is?
blank once you erased all those images?
It was like a new sheet of paper where you erase everything and it's just blank and you kind of start from scratch, but you're not allowed to start from scratch because you needed to forget everything. So I was left just still. And
What was it like to feel empty? With no images of Jesus?
empty.
It just felt.
It just felt odd. It was because you know who he is and you know what he represents, and when you try to forget all that, it's difficult because you know what he represents. You know what it is.
This is so mind blowing. Isn't that so nice? So you felt empty, and so you went back to the image.
Yes, I try to remind myself. You know what? This was an assignment, but it keeps crawling back, and like unintentionally when. If you're in your head or in your thoughts, you want to stay still and you want him to take away whatever it is you're feeling at that moment. Well, who do you give it to if you want to erase everything and whatever you thought your image of him was? So
Right.
it was difficult.
Interesting. Very nice. You're a good student. And did you know that about yourself before I say get rid of all images? Did you know that it would be like that? Had you experienced that before?
No, because before I was always, well, if I can't physically see him, like, is he really real? I didn't understand what people are like, no, you just feel his presence, he's always around. And so for a while, it was hard for me to grasp that concept. But once listening to you and forgiving my mother, forgiving my father, once you feel it, it's hard for you not to feel it anymore. So when you said forget everything it took me back to the days where I was like, kind of in doubt. If I can't physically see him, he's not always with me.
Right.
But now, once I know better and I understand, it was difficult to try to forget all images
The images
of him.
that you had of him, was it like physically seeing him?
Yeah.
That was like physical seeing Jesus?
In a sense, it was, you said erase everything you know of him, even though you have these images, like how people portray him.
Right.
It may differ from each individual, but his spirit within you, it never leaves. That doesn't change.
Okay.
And so once you try to forget that, it's like he's already in me. Like no, it was difficult.
We had a good
but-
meeting on Thursday. This is so interesting. Let me ask your mother, did you erase all images of him?
Yes, I tried.
And you tried, and
Yes.
what happened? How was it for you?
So even as I sit here, I'm still like a little maybe confused because although when I'm in silent prayer, I don't think of images of him.
You say you don't, or you do?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I just allow the Holy Spirit to like pray on my behalf, and I feel more of a warmth and comfort than like actual thoughts or images.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so you tried to get rid of the image a little bit, and did it feel empty for you too?
No, it didn't feel empty because, like I said, when I'm in silent prayer, I never really think of an image.
Oh, but outside when you're not praying, you have an image?
I really don't think about it, to be honest with you.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not so much an image as it
Right.
is a comfort,
Oh,
a
I
sense
got
of
you.
comfort.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
And I'm not as, a good student like my daughter.
Right
I
on.
just really didn't think about it too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is it Marlene's turn?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Are you sure, Jesse?
Yes. What do you, before I go to Marlene, what do you think about the suggestion to get rid of all images of God, of Jesus, Chris? Have no image.
Well, it's good to not have any expectations or anything like that.
Okay, hold that thought. I'll come back. Marlene, did you do it? Got rid of erase all images
tried.
of Jesus.
Yeah. When you first asked that, I thought that was a silly question because then that's how I started thinking about it. I felt like you assumed that perhaps our faith in Jesus is what we've heard from other people.
Was I wrong about that?
Yes, because
okay.
I heard about Jesus my whole life, but I never really cared, or the message that I heard never really impacted me until I finally surrendered, right? And he revealed himself to me.
So
God.
growing up, when you heard about Jesus, read about Jesus and all that, it had no impact on you at all?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because I
Amazing,
guess I
huh?
wasn't repentant during that time.
What?
Repentant during that time.
Right.
So once I repented, right, and I went my experience with God, when I went back to the Bible, I felt like I saw the Bible and understood it with different eyes. And I believe that the Lord just, put his spirit in me and I just see things differently.
So you never had any image of Christ at all?
That he was Jewish, you know what I mean? That he died for us, things like that.
You had that image?
Just a typical knowledge, but that knowledge didn't impact me spiritually, because I was with the devil, I was in a fallen state.
So if that knowledge didn't impact you at all, how did you become an angry person? Because you had anger one time, right?
Yes, I've always had anger.
Right. But if you didn't have the knowledge of Christ, you were not impacted at all. It was just something else.
I grew up with my parents believing in God. I knew about Christ, but I didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So once I, repented and received God in my life, I saw what I read, and by I think God put it in my heart to start reading the Bible, because I would always hear, read your Bible, and I hated when people would tell me that. It made me not want to read the Bible, and I didn't understand it when I would read the Bible and I was forced to. So once I'm like, you know what, let me check it out, let me read it now. I saw it differently.
So the other night, when I asked to erase all images, and we'll discuss it today, you already had no image of God, of Christ.
I did not build the faith that I have nothing to do with what I grew up hearing about Christ.
Okay, but you thought to ask to do that was what?
I thought it was a silly question.
And why was it so silly?
I thought it was silly. Well, for me, right? Because
you already had it?
Because you assume that I believe, or what I know about Christ is what I grew up hearing, and that's not true.
But I didn't assume that about you.
Well, that's what I thought in my,
That was in your head.
Right.
What
My thoughts, right. I'm
assume
explaining
that.
to you my thought process, so that's my thought process.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right here, right next to you. So you were here. Did you erase all images of Christ?
Yeah, during the meeting, not to get personal, but you did
ask, kind of like the biblical question to all of us, whether we know the idea of Christ or the Spirit.
Right.
And I kind of told you that I never really had the idea of Christ growing up. And so you asked me, what, you kind of grew up like an atheist or something? And I kind of answered,
I asked you what now?
if I was raised kind of like an atheist, and in a way,
Oh,
I kind
yeah.
of was.
Yeah.
And so
You were an atheist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, your
so
boyfriend's
because-
an atheist. Too.
And because I never
No, I'm
had
playing.
this
I'm
this
joking.
image, I never had any sort of knowledge about Christ. But now, knowing the Spirit, there's nothing left but to know Him. I didn't have an idea, but I
Wow.
know that I know Him.
So you didn't have to erase the image because you
No.
never had one. Nice.
So it was almost easier for me because I
Okay.
know that there's life and light. And
Cool. Were you here? Oh yeah, you were
was
here.
yeah.
Yeah, you look different today.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, now I remember. You know Nick?
I do, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Nick's really cool.
He is.
But anyway, to answer your question.
Yeah. Did you erase all images of Christ?
I tried to. I mean, it was kind of hard. I feel like Jesus, we've all kind of seen, I feel he's kind of like Mickey Mouse in the sense that everyone knows what he looks like, at least physically. Like we've all seen images of him like on posters and stuff just
Yeah.
in the mainstream world. So, it is kind of hard to, when you're so used to kind of, seeing something kind of, like in the same way how, everyone knows what Mickey Mouse looks like. They've seen his image 1,000 times just
Right.
out in the world.
Yeah.
So, kind of removing that was hard, but I tried to think of him as just sort of being like an omnipresent being where it's like, I don't really know what he is, but he's just sort of always there guiding me in some way.
Yeah. Amazing.
Thank you.
Very interesting. And what's it like knowing that he's guiding you?
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels relaxing, more at peace.
Nice. Amazing. Right here, you were there, right? Okay. Did you erase all images of Christ?
Except the one in my room. Yes.
What do you mean?
I have like a picture of Jesus. I'm like, why do I have this picture of Jesus after, your
So
question?
you have a picture in your room of Christ?
Mhm.
What does he look like in that picture?
The classic pic, but it's just like a puzzle. But yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because then when you do remove that, I'm like I didn't think I knew the Spirit of Christ. I knew that was like the right answer, but I didn't know if it was the real answer. But then when you do remove the images, I'm thinking I still am left truly with love and peace and forgiveness. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool that it's not based on this image that I would have of, Jesus as his son or whatever.
So you erased all the images out of your mind
Mhm.
of him, and it made you realize what now? I'm sorry.
That you are left with this Spirit. And when you go to church and they're like, come to the pulpit and receive
Right.
Jesus into your heart. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I never understood that until I came to you and realized that it is like a spirit, like you need to forgive. This is not about like Christ's image. It's about love and forgiveness and
Amazing.
peace. Yeah.
Amazing. You were here, right? Okay. Did you erase all images of Christ? What you heard, what you read, how he looked, how he doesn't look. Did you erase all the scriptures in your head and all that?
Yeah, but I think that I didn't, because I have had a personal encounter. I never really had, until that personal encounter with the Spirit of Christ.
Yeah.
Before that, I had ideas, but after that, I didn't have any ideas. So I don't really think that I had anything to erase because
Oh, okay.
it was just in me. I already knew in me the Spirit. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing. And you were here. Yes. I can't wait to hear this one. No, I'm playing. Amazing. What do you guys think, ladies, think about this idea of Christ discussion? Yes. Did you erase all images of Christ?
Well, I never really
All of a sudden, everybody don't have an image.
Well,
No, I'm playing.
like I had an image, but I never really held him up to like a pedestal. I just kind of know those like famous stories like of the ocean where you calm the ocean, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Like I didn't know that, so I
Yeah.
just thought he was like just an example. Just like, okay, yeah, you could do that, and then I was like, okay. I was just more like of God, you know, like that's kind of when I guess if I were to just erase the image of Christ, I just kind of go to God.
Oh, so you didn't have an image of Christ, but an image of God?
Yeah,
And
so
what,
that's kind of
what does the image of God look like to you? And where did you get it from?
I guess the image that I had was like he's like the father.
Like a father?
Yeah, he's like a father. That's kind of an easier way to understand it. More like calming, or just kind of when I'm overreacting, he's just like, okay, just don't overreact, like calm, like be calm. And so that's kind of what I tried to erase, you know, had that father image. And I guess I just kind of got back to like perfect love. Like before I thought love was like very a weakness,
Right.
and I was kind of like, oh, you're so nice, you're like so loving. Like I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that.
Right.
But then when I kind of it was just like a poem book I read about it, but it really helped me realize how powerful love was, and that just like moves mountains, I guess, like that. So that's kind of what I got when I erased the image.
Oh, okay. Are you able to stand alone?
Yeah.
You are?
I do get lonely, but I could like still stand alone.
And what does it mean to stand alone to you?
To kind of know that like everything's gonna be against you almost, or like the world, like I try, like I've always tried to, growing up, I tried to be like a worldly person.
You tried to be worldly?
Yes. And it was so hard.
It was hard to be worldly?
Yeah, it's like, or I guess a better way to put it so people can understand, like I try to fit in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then
Yeah,
like you
I know
just
what you
don't.
mean.
And then it's like to fit in, you can't be yourself. And it's like hard to not be yourself. Or I guess maybe it's not, but like for me, it's hard to not be myself.
Beautiful.
So I would always be myself, but and then it was like the world kind of always rejected me.
Nice.
So it's kind of like you're forced to stand alone almost. Like I really had friends, and I really had, or if I did, it would kind of just never work out. Or I was just like, there's no point. Like it's not even worth it almost, you know?
Nice. Are you able to stand alone?
Yes, I think I am.
You don't sound very sure of that.
No, I mean I'm thinking about the question, but yeah, I think I can. I can say I can.
Why do you think you can?
Because there's been situations in my life where I've had battles, or problems where I can't count on anyone else, and I just deal with it by myself without having to tell anyone anything.
Amazing. That's cool, man.
Thank you.
Nice. So, what do you think about me asking the ladies to erase any image of Christ?
It's interesting.
In what way?
I mean, I'm a fairly new listener, so I'm still learning a lot from you.
Yeah.
But just interesting to have that as an assignment.
And because I want people to really, we have a very weak, pathetic, sick society today. It's worse than, at least when I was growing up, right? It's worse than any other time. And it's just bad. I just never seen such weak people. They're afraid to stand alone. They don't, I don't know. It's like, it's crazy. And I want that to change. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not made to be that way. It's not normal to be that way. It's normal to be your own person, to be your own self. That's the normal way. And you're not going to have peace in your life until you can be yourself. And most people just, and the men are as worse as the women. They be acting just like the women. You would think, well, if this woman's acting this way, let me not act that way. You know, something can click. But we have a weak society, and I know it's because they don't know themselves, right? So that's why I asked that. I want to ask the young man behind you, you have an image of Christ?
I do. I don't think he's unattainable. I think everyone in here can be like him. We just don't. We choose not to.
What's your image of Christ?
Perfection.
And what does that? You say you do have one, right? An
Yeah.
image. And what does it mean? What is perfection? What does that mean? And this your first time here?
Second time.
Oh, okay. It's not a test.
Yeah.
It's just to really get to know yourself.
Yeah.
So what does perfection mean? I like the word.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
And I'm black and slow, so I didn't even know what unattainable means.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Just everything about him is good. It's right. He does everything great the way we should, but we don't.
Has that helped you to see perfection?
It does.
In what way does it help you?
Because I know what goals I should have for myself.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like I know what decisions I probably should make in order to become perfect like him.
And can you give me an idea, one decision that you can make to become perfect like him?
Forgiveness.
Have you done that?
I have not.
Why not? How old are you?
How old am I? 17.
Oh, you're 17?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And why, knowing that, why haven't you gone and forgiven?
I haven't had the chance to.
What do you mean?
I haven't been able to see my mother in a long time.
They don't, are you able to reach her if you wanted to?
I don't think so.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So it's just impossible right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Well, just realize she couldn't help herself.
Yeah.
So that you can let it go in case you never see her.
Yeah. In my mind, I've forgiven her. I just haven't been
Oh,
able
okay.
to go to her.
How about your father?
I haven't forgiven him.
You have not?
No.
Is that your father there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's your father? So you riding around with him and you haven't forgiven him?
Well.
What the? Why haven't you? He's right with you. Why haven't you forgiven him?
I haven't thought about anything terrible he's done to me.
So you don't resent him?
I don't resent him at all.
Oh, good then. There's nothing to forgive then.
No.
Oh, good, man. Most boys and girls, men and women, don't hate their fathers.
Yeah.
They hate their mothers. And those that do hate their father have their mother's image of their father. So they hate their father with their mother's anger. Nice, man. Did you know he had forgiven you? He doesn't resent you?
I didn't feel he did. Maybe for...
Oh, let him have the mic for me.
I was, you know, you talk about when you're in a fallen, like I was raised with a horrible mother and grew up seeing men in and out forever, fighting every step that I ever had. I had like 6 of them. It was just horrible. So, but I was in that fallen state so I chose a woman just like my mother to have children with. And so unfortunately, they never got to have a mother. So I had them since they was little.
Right on.
And no one knows how to.
Nice. You're blessed not to have a mother.
I know, thank you.
Amazing, huh? Sorry, ladies. Well, you just need the mother until you're 3 years old. And when you're through breastfeeding, the father should take over at that point. You know what I mean? So, Doug, last one, and then I want to get to this. What's your image of Christ, Doug?
Oh, Doug.
Oh, you want to tell me your image? I could. Okay, I'll come back to you then. Let me finish. Go ahead, Doug.
My image of Christ is, get away from me. You know, I know he's my brother, and I know all the things that I've heard, but I've never really felt him like as my brother, and I don't know why. I just know that I never felt anything like that. So that's kind of where I've been most of my life.
So you just know he's your brother, but you never felt him as your brother.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
What's Francisco's image of?
So growing up Catholic, I've always thought about
I'm glad I didn't went to Catholic.
Catholic is good.
Catholic messed up folks. When I was growing up, I didn't even know a Catholic. They had no Catholic church in my community, not on my plantation. So I wasn't familiar with that at all.
Thank God I wasn't raised a Baptist.
I remember.
I don't have to listen to that singing.
I
jumping
know.
up and down.
I don't know which one is worse.
Well,
But anyway, go ahead. Your image of Christ.
so you know, of course, what you see on TV and in the movies and stuff, you know, and every time you see the guy with the beard down the street, he looks like Jesus. So I kind of dropped a lot of that and forgot about that because it was just in my head, and so just kind of trying to concentrate on the Father, pray to Him, and you know, like
So
that.
you don't have an image of Christ?
I used to.
How about now?
No.
You have no image of him?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Yes, sir. Based on what you heard, read, the movies you have seen, and all that, what's your image of Christ?
So I don't have an image of Christ. I feel Christ within.
You feel him?
Yeah.
And what does he feel like?
Well, it's kind of like how you taught. You don't need a pastor or a preacher or read the Bible to know. It's been in me since I was little, and I strayed away from that. Yeah. And then over the past 4 years listening to you, it like brought me. It's always been there, but you just avoid it. But it's inside. You already know what to do. You already know what right and wrong. You already know that's already there, but people ignore it so bad because of the world or everything else. Yeah. And it's hard to. Like, I wanted to raise my hand as a Christian. I want to call myself a Christian, but it's like everybody else that they call themselves Christians because they go to church every Sunday, but they don't live their lives a certain way, or I read the Bible, so I'm a Christian, but I want to, but I'm one of those people that's hard for me to be, I'm real, it's hard to be hypocritical, and I fall into temptation that would take me away from being a Christian, and I don't want to, but I do. With women or anything, and it's like I don't want to, but so it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian because I live my life a certain way. But
are you doing the prayer, the silent prayer?
No.
And you're not. And why not?
Because, like I said, it's something I know, but but I'm ashamed of how I live my life, and not as far as a father, but in.
Why are you judging yourself like that?
Because I know better and I still do it.
You sound like Paul.
Yeah.
Paul said the same thing. But since you know better, but you still do it, and you can't help it, why judge yourself? God is not judging you. Human beings will, but not God. Why are you judging yourself?
Probably because I know
it's
not hard to do. It's not hard to be. It's not hard, but I don't. And that's why I judge myself, because I kind of hate myself, because I don't give myself, I'm not.
But I want you to answer this for me if you can. God's not judging you. Why are you judging you? Are you better than God?
No.
You said what?
No, I'm not.
Are you a God?
No.
So why are you judging yourself? Are you doing it digging a hole for yourself?
Because I don't know. I really don't.
You can't change anything. You're not in control of anything. So why judge yourself if you're not in control of anything? Because if you want it as badly as you want it, right? You really want to change your bad behavior, right? What you call. But you can't, right? And if you could have, you would have already, right?
I feel like I could have, but I've given in to worldly things like a woman
but
or everything else.
But if you feel like you could have, why have you done it as bad as you want to?
Because like a drug, it's like a drug or whatever, like, you know, like you're talking about, I don't know, man.
But I want you to really smoke on this, man. Just you really want to change that, right?
Yes, I do. I swear I do.
And you've tried to change it.
And I've given an example of my son. Like he understands the value of waiting till marriage, all this stuff.
But you've tried to change it, right? Stay with me.
Yeah.
You tried to change it, right?
Yeah.
And you cannot change it, right?
I can.
You can? But you're lying. If you can, you would have already.
I'm going to.
What?
I will.
What?
I will.
You will change it?
Yeah.
When?
Today.
But you're not seeing it though. You tried. A lot of people commit suicide from trying to change themselves. I literally know people who commit suicide based on what I've got, the report I got back. They tried to change themselves and they couldn't. And Satan said to them, you might as well just die. You might as well kill yourself. You ain't worth nothing. You can't change. Look at you. You say you're a Christian, look at you. You might well kill yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yes.
And so, yeah, you haven't realized that you can't. At some point, you got to give up. I can't change anything, and let go. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself. I want you not even hear yourself speak. You say, I changed, I tried, right? I tried and tried. I tried. That's a song. And I tried, but I can't. And yet Satan tells you one day you will, and you believe it a lie.
Yeah.
You understand that?
I understand, yes.
So since you can't, why not just let it go? Stop trying, and then it'll change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you got to stop judging yourself. You're not God. Even God doesn't judge you for those things because He knows of ourselves we can do nothing.
Yeah.
So cut it out.
I will.
Next time He does it, smack him upside the head. Really, cut it out. Satan got your mind.
I know.
He really got your mind.
I know.
Let go. All right?
I will.
All right. And do the silent prayer.
I will.
So that God can separate you from it. Okay? So I got to do this because of time. We all been taught about Jesus and about God and the way Jesus should be, how He was. And it's so easy to recite it as you've done in this room. He was this, He was that, He was holy, He was perfect, He was this, right? And you have heard about Him, read amazing books about Him. And what has happened, though, is that you don't know Him. You just know about Him. And then you try to live up to what you learned about Him. And when you can't live up to what you learned about Him, you feel like a loser. You feel like a failure. And Satan will use that against you because you're not living up the way that you read and heard about Him. You don't know Him until you come into the spirit of Him. And as long as you have an image of Him, you're never going to have the spirit of Him. He said He's of the Spirit, and we should be of the Spirit. We should walk in the Spirit. And what has happened without you realizing it, and I've said it over and over again, but it doesn't click for you because you're not paying attention to yourself. You're in everything but yourself, right? Most people are afraid to be by themselves. They're afraid to stand alone. They got to have friends and families and cats and dogs, and they dress dogs up like human beings when they can't get along with people. They spend more money on animals than they do themselves because they can't get along with people, and they got to have something to make the ego feel good. And a dog can make you feel like you're being loved. Dogs do not love you. Dogs just obey you. You're feeding the dog. You can feed a homeless person out there in the front door every day. He'll show up, but it doesn't mean he'll love you. It doesn't mean he'll love you. All images, all ideas of Christ are enemies of Christ. An enemy of Christ is the darkness, because all ideas, all thoughts are all lies all the time. And the darkness hate the light, and the light hate the darkness. And that's why you're not getting better in life. You're not overcoming the turmoil in your mind and in your body that you're feeling and going through. You're going through hell because you just have an image. And it's all based on what you've been taught. And Satan is using that against you. He's deceiving you to make you think you know Christ. And that's why you're not getting better, because you think you know Him, because you believe in the lies of Satan. You're not walking in the Spirit of the Father. You're not of the Spirit of the Father. You're of the spirit of darkness. And that's why you have to abandon all image of Christ and come into His Spirit. It's the Spirit of Christ. If you read the New Testament, you'll see that too. It's in the New Testament. It's about the Spirit now. You're born of the Spirit. You're baptized of the Spirit. You walk in the Spirit. You live in the Spirit. And you're not going to do that as long as you have an image. You have to let go of everything. In order to have a life, you must die of a life. And that's the ego life. And as long as you protect that ego, you're dying. You just have the breath didn't leave your body, but you're not living, you're dying. You have to let life just go through you. And don't try to control life. Don't try to block it. Just whatever happens, let it happen. And you will see your ego, the ego, because the ego is not you. It think like you, it sound like it's you, right? And it feel like you when you have the turmoil happening in your body, the fear, the doubt, the anger, and all that. But that's not you at all. And you're protecting the ego. The very thing that should die. Christ said, unless you lay down your life, you're not going to have a life. And y'all hanging on to this false life. You're protecting yourself from salvation, from really being born of the Spirit of the Father. You got to let this life die, and as long as you protect it, it won't die. As long as you identify with it mentally and emotionally, whether it's good feeling or bad feeling or anxiety or worry or jealousy or envy or strife or whatever, that needs to die. That whole thing, you need to let go and just let it die. Really. Otherwise, you would never live. You will always be looking for somebody to identify with and make your leader or your best friend or your this. You need people because you're on an ego trip. If you were not on an ego trip, you can stand alone and be glad to do it because the Father is with you. And yet you would never be alone. God said don't trust a human being with anger. You can't trust a person with anger. They'll turn on you just like that because Satan is their daddy. They have no love. Salvation is of the heart. And love conquers all. It will do it. It will kill the ego. It will show you. It will blow your mind. It will show you that it's the ego. Let it go through you and let yourself die. It'll blow your mind. But as long as you have an image, you're not going to do it. You got to let all thoughts go of all things, anything. Because all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. Even about the Bible. You can read the Bible until the cows come home. I know a lot of Bible thumpers. But they have no love. They're on an ego trip. They take things personally. They need the world around them to make them feel good or feel bad. They need love. Human beings don't have love. That is not love. They only have hate. Anyone who has anger, watch out for emotional, these nice people that act like they love you, they don't love you. They have anger, they do not love you. Just know that. The world don't love one another. And the same conflict that you're having in here, and in here, it's happening in others outside. But if you don't see it clearly in yourself, you're not going to see it in them because they'll hide it. Because you're just like them and you don't see that you have no love. You got to be willing to stand alone. And then God is with you. Hold no grudges against anyone, not even your enemy. It's beautiful to stand alone. It really is. But you got to let all images go about anything because Satan is using them against you. The worst thing, not the worst, but next to the worst thing that, we're in the line with the worst thing, is when we were taught about Christ. That's one of the worst things that's ever happened to us. Because look how hard it is for you to unlearn Christ. It's hard for you to, even though your lives are miserable, you hate your mama, you hate your daddy, you hate yourself, you worry, you have conflict. In Christ, in the Spirit of Christ, there is no conflict, zero. When you truly walk in the Spirit of Christ, you have no conflict, no thoughts, no anything. You never have to make a decision, not one. Because you live in the present, eternal, present of the Father. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're not looking to the left, you're not looking to the right. You're eternal, so things are never changing, they're always the same. You're just living life, moving forward. But when you get in your imagination about what has happened, which doesn't exist anyway, it's only in the head. Satan is deceiving you. Or you think about what's gonna happen, then Satan, your daddy. Or you look to the left or look to the right. That's why people are so weak. They're not staying on that straight and narrow path. It's easy to throw them off just like that. And so you got to erase all that, doubt it, let it pass. It's not true. Even when Satan quote the Bible, he will pretend to be God. God says Satan pretend to be him. He come like a light. And he used the scriptures, he used everything you have learned against you. And make you think you know. And you justify your ego. You are not the ego. I'm telling you, the light, which is the love of God, will separate you from it, and you will see clearly. But you got to stay with it. Stay in prayer. Stay seeking. Don't hate your enemy. When they try to hurt you, let them, oh, I wish them well. Let them have their field day. You stay straight and narrow, and that ego is dying. You're overcoming the world. It's possible to live that way. I'm a living witness. Christ brought that, sent his son, God sent his son so we could be free. You're not free as long as you're living in your head. As long as you believe one thought, you're not free. Those that seem right, there's no right in thoughts, no righteousness in thought at all. So you gotta, and stop identifying with the ego. Do I sound like I'm yelling? I'm not yelling at you, all right? But stop identifying with the ego. I know so many people, I'm seeing people over the last 31, oh yeah, I believe in God. I believe in God. Oh yeah, I doubt every thought. I don't believe my thoughts, right? And as soon as something come along, they look like they hypnotized. What's wrong with you? They in the head, believing a lie. But I thought you didn't believe thoughts. And then you gotta talk to them and try to talk them out of the thoughts, right? And as soon as you talk them out of it, they go back in it with the next situation. They go, and they don't even know they're in a thought. They feel righteous with the thought. They don't know they're in the head, like, what the? Make you want to cuss. Really, all thoughts, everything you learned about Christ is wrong. It's wrong. You want to be born of the Spirit of Christ. He had the Spirit of God. Just think about this, and then I'll take your hand, all right? Christ said, the work that I do, you shall do it too. Greater work. Y'all ain't doing no work. Y'all in your head busy, gossiping, busy bees with no life. You have no life, and you think you do. In your misery. Most people love their misery. Did you know that? They get high being miserable. Don't take my misery away. I don't want no peace. Give me a pill. Make me feel better. My anxiety. That's not your anxiety. You're listening to the devil. God didn't give you anxiety. He doesn't even judge you, man. Stop judging yourself. That's Satan got you doing that. And then you overcome all things. The Spirit of the Father will change all things. No matter what anyone else says. Live your life. All right? Yes, sir. Does that make... Oh, go ahead. You had your hand.
It's a little bit off topic, but I was going to ask, I believe it was Peter that asked it, how many times should I forgive my the person?
Right.
Jesus said not 7 times, but 70 times 7,
yeah.
Which is 149. But that doesn't necessarily mean to forgive 149. It means to forgive infinitely, right?
Once you are born of the Spirit, and I'm going to tell you how to be in the Spirit, in case you don't know. And forgive me for telling you, because a lot of you are going to try and it's not going to work. But once you are born of love, you live a life of forgiveness. It's impossible to hate when you have love. No matter what happened, you cannot hate. It's just not even in you, because the Spirit has been taken away of hate. You're possessed with hate, resentment. Hatred, resentment, and anger is the same Spirit. And once you're truly born of, just think about it, this Spirit is of love. God is love. In Him there is no hate. And so if your nature is that of His, how are you going to have hatred in your heart? Smoke on, well, I shouldn't tell, oh yeah, don't smoke. No, but listen, you really need to keep your eye on yourself. Know thyself. Know yourself. Pay attention to self. When you stay with self, you'll be fine. You really will. You'll be fine, but you got to stay with self. And I'm only knowing this because, thank God, I've stayed with self for 32 years. He has not allowed me to deviate. Really, love will lock you in and take care of you. And you cannot. Just like Satan made you do all this other mess, you're not in control. Satan is in control. You're not in control at all. What you think is not you. He's making you think that. And so, long story short, when you're born of love, you no longer have the spirit of hate. So 70 times, 70 times, 70, and a lifetime. You just can't hate no more.
So whenever you ask God forgiveness, he's always forgiving you, no matter what.
When you go and forgive, as a matter of fact, it's so beautifully set up is that when you realize you resent, and all human beings resent their mothers. There's not one that doesn't resent mama, right? And so, because we were born into that nature of mother, anger, lack of patience, controlling, she wanted to live through you. And when you're a little kid, you can't help but resent her. And so you become like mama. And it's not her, but it's that wicked spirit that made a home in her. And it's passed down to you. And so you have this anger. Satan is your daddy. You grow up confused, smoking pot.
But I forgave both of my parents already. And that I felt like things were kind of relief from there. Yeah. But the thoughts keep coming back as if I feel like I haven't truly forgave them, but I did because I looked them straight in the eye and said,
right.
I really do forgive
you. You're doing
you.
one thing wrong. You haven't realized that those thoughts are not yours. You say, I still feel anger, or I still doubt, or I feel like I have. That's not, you identify with evil, the ego. You stop calling that you. It's not you. It's a it. It's a wicked spirit that made a home in you, right? And it needs you to identify with it so it can continue to control you. But if you know that it's a it, like you walking down the road, right? And somebody look like they want to fight with you. Some bad guy look like he want to fight, right? When he really just wanted a joint. And Satan will tell you, oh, look at him. He want to fight. He want to get in your face. And you'll believe it because you believe it, and now you want to get in the man's face, right? But if you know that's not you thinking that, oh, look at it. It's trying to make me believe it's me. If you remember that, you're being separated and it's being destroyed. Stop identifying with thoughts and feelings. None of them are from God and none are from you. So stop saying, I feel this and I feel that and I think this and I think that. I worry, I need money, I need this and all that. Stop doing that and you will no longer identify with it and eventually it will get further and further away. It's not you. Stop saying I.
Facts.
You don't, in the real you, there is no pain, there is no worry, there is no doubt, there is no anxiety. It's nothing but peace all the time, 100% of the time. But as long as you identify with the ego, you're going to suffer because you identify with evil. And if you notice, I got to see fast now. If you notice, when you really pay attention, evil makes you think about the past or the future. It won't let you think about the present. And if you fall for it, you lose. And most people fall for it because they're not paying attention. You got to let all bitterness go. You're murdering yourself to have bitterness, to have anger. You're not hurting your fellow man, you're hurting yourself. Anyone who has anger is a murderer. You're murdering your own life, your own self. So stop identifying with the ego. That makes sense a little bit? All right. This young lady had her hand, and then I'll come back. Is this your first time here?
It's my second time.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
What does it mean to you to be a woman of God?
To have nothing, no bitterness at all in your heart, no anger. It's the same for men. Women who forgive and that ego thing that they have, that Eve passed down to them, when they stop identifying with that, the Father would take that away and they would love God with all their heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else. And that means that you give up, you're not trying to control anything, not even your own life. When you have perfect love, then you're a daughter of God. If you have any anger, then say your daddy.
Wait, say that again?
If you have anger,
oh, then Satan's your dad.
Satan, your daddy. Do you have anger at all?
I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
And why haven't you forgiven?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Do you want to overcome that spirit of anger?
Definitely.
So go and forgive your mother.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I've talked to people all over the world, different languages and all kind of stuff. It's the same spirit. It ain't about color. It's not about male or female. It's about spirit. It really is.
I think I have more resentment toward my father than my mother because I blame my father for all of my mother's actions.
You blame your father for your mother's actions?
A lot of them, yes.
Because you've identified with your mother. And so you have her identity. And so you're seeing your father through your mother's eyes. Your mother was already screwed up when your father met her. And that's why he was attracted to her, because she's just like his mother. Your father didn't do that to your mother. Your mother was crazy already. He had nothing to do with it. Her mother did that to her, and her father did not protect her from the mother. Your mother lied to you.
This sound like the mother is the source of all?
She is.
Why is the woman the source of all
Because
problems?
all hell comes through the woman. Because of Adam and Eve. You know how Satan became Eve's daddy? She stopped listening to her husband, and she believed the serpent in the garden there. He told her, you know what, you could be like the man. Don't listen to Adam. Look at him. He listened to his daddy. And made Adam think that, that Satan made her think that Adam was wrong for listening to his father. And so if Adam listened to his father, then who is he to tell you what to do? Go get a job. Have an abortion. Don't have no more babies. And then she believed the serpent. And once she believed him, he became her spirit. She took on his identity, the serpent's identity. And then once Adam believed the woman, because Eve went back and told Adam, you know what? Don't listen to your daddy, he's dumb. He just wanted to control you. And long story short, once he believed her, the woman became the man's God. Satan is the woman's God, and the woman is the man's God. And that's why man must be born of the father so he can overcome the nature of the woman, which is the nature of Satan. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stop hating your father. Your father could not handle your mother. Your mother's the problem, not your father. Your father's weak. He's beta male, but he's not the reason for your mother being screwed up. Right? You understand that?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time to go as deep as I'd like to, but thank you.
You have real fast, because I want you to really understand this so you don't grow old and miserable. Because I don't want you to grow weak and not standing alone if you need to, right? And I want you to live a life where you don't have to ask any human being anything. Because did you know that Christ never asked anybody about spiritual things, did he? He didn't go around and ask a rabbi, how do you find God? Or what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? That's what I tell people, when you have a business idea, do your business. Don't ask anyone what they think about it. Because they're going to give you their fears and their doubts and their work, and you'll think that they're your own, and you won't even start a business. Because you got somebody else's idea rather than taking it one step at a time and just doing your thing. It's in you to know. When I started this company, when I started my janitor, I ain't asked nobody what you think. Because people give you their fears and their doubts. Live your own life. That makes sense a little bit? One last quick question, because it is, but I want to grant you that. You want to ask me something else, you say?
Oh, no. No,
Oh,
that
okay.
was it.
Go forgive your mother. And you'll see that you're just like your mother. And if you don't forgive your mother, you're going to meet weak men in your life, and you're going to treat them the same way your mother treats your father. And then you're going to tell your children, your daddy made me feel this way. Your daddy made me crazy. Your dad, and your kids going to identify with you, and it'll go from generation to generation. Forgive your mother. She lied to you. All right? Your mother's evil. And that's why she's so crazy in the head, because she lives in darkness. She can't help it. All right? I can't hear you. I know you're bowing your head. But
Yes, thank you.
Are you Asian?
I'm Korean.
Korean. See,
Yes.
it's in every culture. It's the same spirit, the same everything, everywhere. Stop believing this racism crap. It's not about race. It's not about male or female. It's about the spirit of the Father or the spirit of Satan. Anyway, did this help a little bit? Yes. Anybody that disagree with that? All ideas are from Satan. Really. If you have an idea, let it go. And God will guide you. All idea goes against God. Anyone that make decisions go against God. We are not capable of making decisions. Every decision we make is wrong because you listen to your daddy, Satan, and you think they're your own decision. God will give you to know. He will give you revelation, and you'll find yourself doing what you were created to do. Really, you, men and women, he has given all of us a talent, a purpose, whatever you want to call it. But you got to let go and stop playing God. You must become your own man, your own woman. It's time out for being weak. It really is, especially with the men. I've never seen so many. I don't know if we can use the word sissified, right? I don't think they use that word anymore. So delete it. Anyway, do the silent prayer. Doubt every thought, all thoughts about scriptures, about everything. It's just building Satan's nature, not your own. God will reveal. We have the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will literally teach you all things. When you let go, you can live. Just stay present. Stop judging yourself. Don't judge others. Wish them well. Because they can't help it. They're having the same hell that you're going through. It's in them too. And misery loves company. It got to draw people into it. Otherwise, they may be alone and have to face themselves. And most people don't want to face themselves, so they need company. All right? Do the silent prayer. Stop hating. Go and forgive. Stay on your straight and narrow. You'll be fine. All right? I hope this helped. We have the best counseling service on this side of heaven if you need counseling. What else? This shows, I hope you like the Anchor Baby's new show. Right now he's just doing Fridays, just all evening. He was on for 3 hours, I heard. Nice. And we're working on the next person to host their own show on the network, the Jesse Lee Peterson network. So we'll announce that when it's all worked out. All right? What else? Forgive. No announcement, right? All right, so do the silent prayer. Know that you are not the ego. Don't identify with it anymore. When it's talking to you, when it's trying to make you feel, just know, oh, look at it. It's trying to make me think. It's trying to make me feel a certain way. It's trying to draw me back in. It's not I, it's it. It's a thing, it's a spirit. Meaning that's a wicked spirit, all right? So thank you all for tuning in. If you need counseling service, you know how to get us. Also, the radio show. Thank you for your support, the donations, and the super chats and all that. Have a good day, folks. Appreciate you. And thank you all for coming. Amazing.